Hi, it's Jen from Shabby Fabrics with an extra special quilt here. We love our shabby chic, shabby fabrics, right? We love our shabby chic style collections, those soft pastels, the florals. These beautiful fabrics are from Heather Briggs. She is the newest designer, one of the newest designers at Moda Fabrics. Her collection's called Flower Girl, and I could not wait to get busy making a project with her beautiful new collection. So you're seeing that here, and it's easier than you might think. Let's look at the quilt here and we'll break that down. You can see there's a grid here. There's actually 3 of them running vertically, and you can see it's squares on a point. I love that kind of scrappy look. Great news. You'll be starting off with a pre-cut, a layer cake that you'll be now cutting into 2-inch squares. Works super well with the creative grid rulers and a spinning mat, so you're not having to lift up the fabrics as you cut the 2-inch lanes. Once that's done, we use a fusible grid to be able to iron those squares directly onto the grid, and then we sew the grid together. If you've ever done this technique before, you know this really is a lot of fun. So you're not having to go sew these little squares together one by one. That's not happening. You're laying out your grid, laying all your squares out, having a chance to audition them. Once you're happy, you iron everything down, and then you begin to sew those rows together. And we'll certainly be doing a video showing you how this technique works. It's really a lot of fun. Things come together very, very quickly. Great news is that inside your kit, we're actually giving you a 4th strip. You can either practice with that one, which is what we did, and we were so excited by what we came up with. We added borders, a backing, and a binding, and we went, wow, we have a whole nother project. So you have enough fabric in your kit to not only make this quilt, but also this runner, which should be beautiful for a table, maybe a bed runner, or to give as a gift. It's just so pretty. That fabric is being printed right now. We got a little bit of advanced yardage to be able to make our quilt. The great news is today, you don't have to buy that whole kit. You can just make a small $10 deposit and know you have one of our limited quantity kits. Be sure to grab the coordinating backing as well, just a $5 deposit, and pick up that thread set while you're at it. That's what we use to be able to stitch down all of the pre-fused and laser cut applique shapes. And of course, your kit will include the pattern as well. As you can see, we decided to add a beautiful scallop to the outer border just because it was so sweet. It just added just another level of really kind of feminine. It's pretty. You could either just keep the border straight if you don't want to scallop them, but if you do, inside your pattern, you will have the diagrams showing you how to trace the scallops on. And for me, my favorite technique whenever I want to scallop a border on a quilt is I use the Quilt in a Day Scallops, Vines, and Waves template. I've done a video on this. It is easy to follow. Be sure to check that out if you're curious. But again, you don't have to scallop those borders if you don't want, but I think it really adds a lot to the quilt. What's on the table here are the notions we use to make the quilt. Anytime we know we want to make a nice clean cut of fabric, I'm automatically saying, is my blade sharp enough in that rotary cutter? If not, change the blade. We use the gray in the Carrera set that has a black, gray, and white. You can either use the white or the gray. Pick your favorite thread. Patchwork pins, of course, were important. And the super nonstick size 8012 needle was our go-to because this is backed with heat and bond light. There's a fusible aspect on the back of that, of course, so we wanted to make sure we're using a needle engineered for that. Because we wanted to have all of these be able to pre-assemble, we used our wafer one light box, our applique mat, and of course we have our diagrams here so you can get your flower, get your petal, get your center, take that to your combination here, iron those together. So when you're laying out these long runs, that's just less parts, less pieces for you to be managing. So it's one thing that I would recommend. If you don't have a light box, pick one up. And of course, any other notions you might need. The most important thing though, is getting your kit. Moda prints this fabric one time. We had to make a guess at how many, kits people would want. And I think we might have underguessed. It's so pretty, prettier than I expected. And of course, be sure to grab your backing, your thread set, any notions you might need, and I'll certainly see you soon on another shabby video.